Greetings and a warm welcome to Let's Network TV. I am still the mad princess, absolutely still mad about the arts, about creatives, about young entrepreneurs and professionals. And today we are at this beautiful facilities at AmPd Studios. Thank you to AmPd Studios and Old Mutual. Today's guest is a VIP of note. He is a voiceover artist. He's an artist. He's also the very first presenter for AmPd Studios Live, Season 1.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, who am I talking about? He ain't got the shade. I ain't talking I'm a sweetie, no M&Ms. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Black Slow.
That was actually like a good intro. That was a solid intro.
Thank you. You're welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah. What a wow to be sitting here today with you.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You are absolutely welcome.
By the way, I love the silk vibe that you have going on.
You like everything? Yeah. Everything I'm wearing today is actually courtesy of Omisi, my grandmother.
For real?
I promise you.
Was she like a stylist?
She was very stylist. Everything I have, most of the stuff I have are stuff that she gave me, and she would say, Binky, I'm giving you this today, right now. Because one day when I'm not here, you know, I promise you. So I got that stuff close to my heart.
Yo, that is so cool. That's nice.
That's beautiful.
She definitely had style.
She did. Nah? She did. All right. So let's dig in. I mean, Black Slim.
Yeah.
I don't even know this man's first and last name. All right. But
I try not to put it out there.
All right. So are you not very comfortable sharing it with us?
No. I am.
All right. So please do give us your government names.
Government name, Buntu Mawisa.
Wow.
Kapa.
Beautiful.
I mean, what else can I say? I think when it comes to my name specifically, when people hear my name like Buntu, that's such a beautiful name. I get that like a lot. Oh my God.
It is.
That's such a beautiful name.
Yes.
Why do you hesitate to say it? I'm like, no, it's not that I hesitate to say it, but when I try to create this this relationship where if someone calls me by my name, they know me.
It's like a personal thing.
Yeah, it's personal. Do you know what I
hear you.
And when someone says Slim, they're know, okay, artist mode or presenter mode or voiceover mode. So I know, like, my mom is never gonna call me Slim.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
I
you just had an off-air conversation about like the importance of moms or the importance of my mom in my life.
That's true.
So like, I know if she calls me, she's calling me by my name. So whoever's calling me by my name, I know, okay, cool. That is like
someone close to home.
Yeah, I don't have to keep that arm reach type of thing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And on that note, I mean, I'm also one of those people that's going to say, what a beautiful name. Because not only is it just a beautiful name, but it's also the motto for Mzansi, for South Africa. We believe in Ubuntu, Buntu, Kasijwana, and which is also loosely translated as humanness. Right? I am because you are.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, if you weren't, then I wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's really something to take home. All right. So you mentioned that you are originally from a.k.a. You're a Xhosa boy.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So tell us about your journey as a young boy growing up in Cape Town.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It wasn't, I'm not gonna say it was hard. It had its challenges. But I mean, I'm fortunate, I'm lucky enough to have grown up in a home with both my parents.
Wow,
both loving parents.
Beautiful.
And the first 6 years of my life, I stayed at Kailicha, Lukshin. And then we moved because it was just too dangerous that side for my parents. So we moved to kind of like a suburban area called the Montana, which was it's like mad close to Ekukuletu, still close to the hood somewhat, but not necessarily in there, right? So my parents like worked super hard, man, for me to go to a good school, for me to have all the things that I need, not necessarily want, but all the things that I need. And I was always, so on the weekends I'd be at my grand's house, and my grand stayed at Kukuletu, and then in the week I'd be like at school. So the schools that I went to a colored school called Montevideo. Then I went to kind of like a white-ish, colored-ish school called Pylons. And so I was always around a lot of, let me say, races. You know what I mean? And at first, the main challenge was kind of like, I'd leave home and then I'd go to school and then I'm speaking English like all day. You know what I mean? Like because the better you speaking in English, the more, can you say, recognized you'll be in school.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
True.
And it was easier to fit in just based on how you can speak in school. You know what I mean?
True.
And then I'd have to, then in the weekends I go to Ekukuletu, then Diselokshin. So now it's like, hey, coconut, hey, yakumsha, this guy, you know what I mean? So now I always had to kind of like find that balance of like, okay, when Ekukuletu, like I need to make sure that I'm not speaking this posh English.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then when I'm at school, it's like a different side. You know what I mean? So I've always had this challenge of having to kind of like fit in.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And the industry, the music industry that I'm in, the narrative of hip hop specifically was always like, you have to come from, your story has to be a poor story. You have to be broke. You have to just stand in the street corners.
You gotta be from the hood.
Yeah, I never had that. You know what I mean? I never had that. And so I thought, as much as I liked writing music, I didn't think hip hop was for me because I'm not broke.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You ain't black enough.
Yeah, I'm not black enough. You know what I mean? So, but then I came to realize, like, even if you have both parents or whatever, there's challenges of its own that come about. There's challenges that come with being black in a white space. There's come with challenges that being black in a colored space. There's challenges that come with being a privileged black in a black space.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So, and those challenges are more of a mental challenge. So now, like in the last 3 years, those things are there's more of a lens, of a focus on them. But like 10 years ago, that wasn't like mental awareness and mental understanding. Those weren't real things. You know what I mean? Those weren't things that are highlighted as much as they are now. So I think that was probably like one of the growing up, the most difficult challenges of finding myself. So I remember I always used to describe myself like, when it's like, okay, who's Black Slim? You know what I mean? Every interview has that question of like, who's Black Slim? And I'd always be like, Black Slim is this middle class kid who's too white for black people and too black for white people. That's how I always used to describe myself.
I hear you.
Right, because that's how I always felt.
Yes, and it sounds like that's one of the main things that kind of was a main challenge for you.
Yeah, 100%,
but also
100%.
shifted and shaped the kind of person that ultimately you became.
Yeah.
You know, because like what you were saying earlier, in that 10 years ago, it's like it's not something that was so out there.
Yeah,
and it could also be because during those times, because what you're talking about, it's something that I can also relate to very closely in that post 94 when, you know, suddenly we could all come together in one space, and myself and, you know, a few of my friends were amongst just about 10 out of the whole school that were, you know, children of color. And that was a challenge on its own, you know, and we've come a long way because I think at that time, what you're saying, we were just also finding our way in it, because I can relate. We went home and we spoke Veneke with the kids eKasi, but then we also the ones that are bringing in the twanging, and we also the ones that are bringing in the rolling of eyes and those kind of things, you know. And it's like what you're doing, but now it's like everyone does it. You know what I mean? And those are those things that we went and picked up. You know what I mean? When you think about it,
and that has challenges of its own.
It has challenges.
And I think we're were the first generation then of those challenges and
yes,
of
that
things
transitioning,
of that transition,
and now what you're saying, you are coming into the realization, but wait a minute, actually this is what was happening, actually I was singing this song, but it wasn't really for my resonance, you know what I mean?
100%,
so
100%.
I think only now we are getting into some sort of middle ground, we understand the best of both worlds, and that's what can then help us move forward as a better people.
No, 100%. 100%.
Beautiful, and thank you for sharing that with us.
No, you're welcome. It's a pleasure.
All right, so you from Cape Town.
Yeah.
Tell us about your relocating to Joburg. How did that come about?
It was a difficult time that I moved in for personal reasons.
Okay.
I mean, so I wanted to move to Joburg maybe 4 years ago.
Okay.
Right? The plan was to move like 4 or 5 years ago to Joburg.
And when did you move in initially?
I moved 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I'm here like 2 years now.
All right.
So my plan was to finish studying. So I studied marketing and economics at UWC. And then I didn't finish, right? So I got to like I think third year. Yeah, the beginning of third year.
Wow.
And then I dropped out. I know, right? Imagine my mom. My mom was like, "What?" Yeah,
and what was the reason?
My dad got sick. Okay. So my dad got sick, and the doctors told us my dad's got like 6-8 months left. So then, and I was the only person at home from my mom's kids. So then it was like, for me, it wasn't even like this is a difficult decision to make. It was like, yo, dude, this is my dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This person spent his whole life making
looking
sure that like I'm good. So I dropped out final year, and then took care of my dad. And then I told myself, okay, I'm going to take care of my dad. And then naturally, after he leaves, I'll then move to Joburg. Then that process happened. He got sick. Unfortunately, then passed on. Then my mom got sick. You know what I mean? I didn't mentally, I prepared myself for the mental effects that's going to come with. So my mom got sick. And then I ended up staying longer in Cape Town because I wanted to take care of my mom. You know what I mean? And it just didn't sit right with me spiritually to move at that time. But then the agreement that my mom made with me is if I'm staying in Cape Town, I can study music. So then I studied music. I studied sound engineering at this place called ASC.
Because she knew you loved music.
Yeah, she knew I loved music. So I studied music. And then 2 years, I got what I wanted in studying sound engineering, which was my Pro Tools. So I got my Pro Tools. And then again, dropped out. I was like, I got what I need. My mom was like, yo, what's wrong with this kid? Like, what's wrong with this child?
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that it was never about the paper for me, whether I was studying economics, studying marketing, or studying sound engineering. Yeah. It was never about the paper, right? It was about, can I understand this thing? As soon as I understand this thing, right, then I'm gone. I don't need to stay here any longer.
I'm with you 100%
you know what I mean?
On that one.
So when it came to the economics and marketing thing, I knew, okay, cool, now I know how to market my business, now I know how to market my music, how to treat my music as a product. How do you brand it? How do you market it? How's your audience? How do you cater to your audience? You know what I mean? Like all those things, I studied them and I specifically tailored them to my music. So I knew, okay, now I know what to do. I don't need a paper to tell me that I know what to do.
I hear you.
And I never had the intention of, as soon as I get this paper, I'm going to corporate. I was like, I need the information
so that I can do this.
Yeah, so that's why for me, like leaving was not like a train smash. My mom at first was like, "Yo, this kid just."
You had
she
your
was worried
plan.
that he never sees anything through.
I hear you. And parents are naturally like that,
from a protective space, right?
That's true.
So she was always worried about this kid is just he's always starting something but never finishes it. And then
and this was a very challenging period
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
you, and that some really rough, heavy stuff that you had to go through there in a really short space of time as well. But how did you find that you managed to deal with all of that, like, in a short space of time? I mean, losing a parent is not an easy thing. And you are a young man yourself. You have your whole life ahead of you. You planning your life exactly, but you also have responsibilities to your siblings and your mom. So how did you maneuver around all of that?
I mean, I would say, to be honest, still dealing. I think the loss of a parent, to anyone who's watching this and has lost a friend, it's waves, man. It comes in waves, you know what I mean? So you'll feel it, like there's the immediate one, you know what I mean? Like, oh shit, it's like this. And then every time you have a breakthrough in your life, then you start thinking, damn, I wish I could speak to, you know what I mean? Like, I found a girl that I'm really into. I wish I could speak to my dad about this. You know what I mean? They're not here. Man, I'm going through this challenge with work. You know what I mean? What would advise? So every time you break through a certain period, then you start realizing, man, like, actually, that's a conversation I could have had or didn't have.
True.
You know what I mean? So I think, I know for myself, speaking for myself, I can say I'm still dealing. And I think I'll deal with it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? If once I get my first kid, I'll still have that. Like, I'll deal with it for the rest of my life. I learned to embrace certain things. You know what I mean? I never looked at it as like, this is... it's downhill from here. You know what I mean? It had its down patches. But I'm a firm believer that there's a lesson in there somewhere. And I believe in everything, whether you're making money, losing money, getting a new job, losing another job, going through a pandemic, there's like a lesson in there. You know what I mean?
True.
So that's kind of like how I try and evaluate like every situation. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's power. And the spirit lives on.
100%.
The spirit lives on.
100%.
So that is also our comfort, our biggest comfort as well. All right. So where do you find that is a tool that you can maybe say or share that you use as your escape tool? But I also want to talk about you're a musician as well. So you went to school to study sound engineering for the music side of things, right? So tell us about your journey of music. How did that start about? What inspired you to really now start looking into spitting and throwing rhymes?
I think with music, it was kind of like, I knew I never looked at things the way a lot of people look at things. Like, I always knew. I wasn't sure if that was because of where I stayed, the type of conversations I'd have. But I knew I always looked at things from a different perspective. Right. And I think I'm grateful for my family. Because they really like introduced me to music. I come from a family of 7 originally, right?
Wow.
Like 7 of us, right?
Wow.
So I'm the last born, right? So I used to...
You the baby.
Yeah, I'm the baby. So I chilled with everyone in the house. Like, I'll chill with my dad, then chill with my mom, then chill with my sister, then chill with my brother, chill with my other brother, and chill with my another brother. So when I chill with my dad would be playing jazz all day.
Wow.
Right? When I chill with my mom would be playing gospel, like joyous celebration all day. Right? When I chill with my sister, she'd be playing R&B, so like Brenda. No, not Brenda, sorry. Tamia.
Your
Brandy.
Karen White.
Yes, you know what I mean? So when I chill with her, she'd be playing all this R&B. One of my brothers would listen to like Kwaito, so from the Trompis to TKZ, Speakeasy. Then another brother of mine listened to like old hip-hop.
Gosh, this is like Brother Five now.
You know what I mean? Like, this, like, my other brother listened to like a lot of like hip-hop, so like Talib Kweli and Common and all those guys. Then my brother just above me, he listened to like more modern hip hop, so like Jay-Z, 50 Cent. So I was like listening to music everywhere.
Like,
you know what I mean?
whole combination.
All the time.
Crazy.
I was listening to music all the time.
Yes.
And So as much as I'm a hip hop artist, I'm also a music writer. So when I write
Yes.
music, most of the time I'm writing
Oh.
R&B.
Okay.
You know, or I'll write. So if I'm writing a record for someone else, it will most likely be like R&B or like a Kwaito record.
Wow.
So, and it's mainly because I grew up surrounded by music all the
Yes,
time.
that makes
like
sense.
every corner. So that's why I'm like music kind of like was just always there.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
really amazing. All right, so the first track that you ever did, and what was it, and what inspired that?
So I started with writing poetry.
Okay.
Like in high school, because in high school they force you to kind of like
Yes.
understand poetry, you know. So
True.
I started off writing poetry, and then the more I wrote poetry, I had to go to psychology I had to see a psychologist like my beginning years in high school, right? So the psychologist always encouraged me to like write, you know what I mean, like write how I'm feeling, because I could never put it into words perfectly.
Okay.
Because I feel like when I'm trying to describe something, a lot of things happen in my head all at the same time. So I always struggled describing something to the best way. So she was just like, yo, write it down. And then when I wrote it down, she was like, yo, you actually like, you're really good at like
Wow.
like writing, and
Yes.
you're really good at
What
painting
were you
pictures.
writing? Shakespearean sonnets and
No,
stuff?
I was really just like describing. I would describe things in detail.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when she'd
Okay.
ask me like how I'm feeling, I wasn't good at expressing my feelings, so I would hide them in metaphors. I'd hide them in, you know what I mean? So then she was like, "You actually like."
You're
You're a really good writer because you're trying so hard to mask your
Yes.
feelings, you know what I mean, and hiding it and all
And you
these
don't
things.
even know
And you
that
don't
that's
know,
what's supposed
right?
to happen
Yeah,
as a writer.
So exactly. So through that, I then started understanding like, okay, I just enjoyed writing, I enjoyed reading.
Yeah.
And that eventually then I started writing music. And like when I was influenced, as I said, by so much much hip hop around me.
a lot.
So I was growing up like I'd watch like Eminem, I'd watch Jay-Z, you know, and watching these guys, as much as I wanted to be them like in front of the camera, I also wanted to be them like off camera.
Oh,
Right?
nice.
And I think that's where like the music business side came in.
Awesome.
You know what I mean?
Awesome.
But sticking to the question, the learning
first
to
track?
write, the first track was like, I didn't even think it was like a good record.
So tell us
But
about.
I really remember it. I really remember it.
Okay. All right. So tell us about the tracks that you've done.
Man, so I think I exist in different spaces when I write music. You know what I mean? I like writing music alone. Like I'm not those people that like, yo, the studio must be full, we must have liquor, we must have like I'm not like that at all.
Okay. All right.
Mainly because I think music is like extremely like a spiritual thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I understand the gift that I've been given and
True.
what it requires, and what I say can actually change someone's whole day for
Yes.
the better or for the worse.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So I really try to create music to a soundtrack. Started as a soundtrack to my own life, but then it moved and then waterfalled into like a soundtrack to other people's lives.
Yes.
And I mean, I think probably my favorite song that I've probably written, it changes as I grow up. So
Is
like,
it?
yeah, whatever phase that I'm in,
But
that song will be the favorite
What comes
song.
at the top of your mind right now?
There was a song called "Letter to the City." Probably my most personal song. That song I wrote like after dealing with my dad and stuff.
Okay.
So that was probably like one of my.
Is it something we can find online?
Yeah, you can find it online. It's
Okay.
one of my most intimate songs.
Okay.
What other song? There's a song that I did my first year of university called I Shop Jose. And that was mainly just like being young and restless, living life and making money. That's literally what the chorus is. So it was
Okay.
literally like being new to everything, you know. And it catapulted my career in Cape Town.
Okay.
because I started getting bookings, I started getting like recognized.
Dope.
But I think now the project that I'm like working on is like probably like my most beautiful project. I'm excited. Every song in there is my favorite song.
Is it?
Every song, like
Is
every
it like
song.
anything we haven't heard of as yet, or is it something that's out there already?
So I put out the first single. The first single is called Polo. So basically, when I moved to Joburg, I stayed at this apartment, and then I lost the apartment because I just couldn't afford to stay there anymore. Then I spent some time staying in my car, and then I stayed with my sister. I have a sister that stays in Joburg.
Wow.
So, but the transition between getting kicked out of my place and then staying with my sister was kind of like challenging because I didn't want to go back home, and I didn't want to because I would have felt like I failed.
Yeah.
So I was bouncing in between friends. I was staying in my car for a little while.
Yes.
And I created like the best music.
Wow.
Like I created like the best music because I was always traveling.
I cannot wait for us to hear some of that music. And
man.
Speaking of music, you know how boom rap are always ready on some, hey, give us a freestyle.
Hey, I know. Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, I'm ready, but I gotta get into a certain place.
Okay, can I sing for you then?
Yes, no, definitely. Definitely.
Okay, I'm not a singer. Y'all know I'm not a singer.
You can't say that. You can't say that now. You're already committed.
I'm gonna do this. My friends know I sing whenever, however, so it don't matter.
All right. Let me hear what you got.
All right. The moment I wake up,
good song.
Before I put on my makeup, I say a little pray for you. Let's go.
Oh, wow. Okay, no, I'm not a singer. I'm not a singer, but that was beautiful.
But I thought you were going to go like a
oh, no. I'll do something either off camera or like after the interview.
So we can definitely expect something from Slim after that.
You definitely can.
All right, no, that's dope. All right, so your journey is it's a roller coaster kind of journey.
100%.
And now you're talking about, you living in your car.
Yeah.
You're getting kicked out from your place. And then boom, you're on our TV screens, AmPd Studios, season 1 presenter.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. How did that happen?
So I'm gonna try and like summarize it as quick as possible.
Okay.
So when I moved to Joburg, I had no studios, right? I had nowhere to record. So before I moved to Joburg, I did a gig, and I had a deal with Hunters in Cape Town, and the person who had organized that, who had made that gig happen, was also working, building this place called AmPd, right? And then once the place was built, he contacted me to say, yo, man, like, actually, we built this thing. It's something we spoke about, like, in 2016 or something. He was like, yo, I want to build this thing. And he called me to like, yo, actually, I managed to do it, and I did it in Joburg. I'm like, dude, I actually stay in Joburg. Can I come check it out? Came to check it out. I was like, yo, this is everything I need. I mean, there's a studio, there's content creation.
And that's AmPd Studios for you.
Exactly. So I was like, yo, how do I get involved? And I was like, yo, there's these things that we're doing called masterclasses, where we speak about like financial literacy and financial literacy in the music space. I was like, yo, that sounds like it's something exactly that I need right now because I'm struggling financially, right? And I went to the first one and the second one, and then after the second one, I wrote them. I called the guy, right? I don't know if I can say his name, but I called the guy and I was like, yo.
The guy in charge.
Yeah.
All
I was
right.
like, yo, you guys, I noticed that the master classes don't have an MC, right? Can I?
Yes, can I?
Yeah, and it was like, well,
yes, you can.
You might as well.
Like that ad. You know, there's that ad, can I?
Yeah, yes, you can.
That's beautiful because you used your voice.
Yeah, so I was like, yo, man, can I just do this? And it was like, yo, sure, let's give it a shot. The pay isn't that great, but let's see how it goes. Did the first one, did the second one, and then the client was happy, they were happy, and I was happy because I was getting like somewhat of a stable income, right? Fast forward, the pandemic happens because this was like 2019, late 2019 into 2020. Pandemic happens, and then no more master classes, so now I'm not working. Right?
Yes.
And then this guy, he's like, yo, we're gonna package these master classes and we're gonna
This
gonna try
awesome
and sell
dude
them. Yeah,
that we still haven't said his name.
I might give his name out. We're gonna package them and then give it to Viacom, which will be MTV based and BET. I was like, yo, that's crazy. Like that's super cool. And they're like, yo, you might be the presenter for the show. I was like, that would
like stop it right now.
No ways, you know what I mean? So and this was like the beginning of the pandemic. This was like March, right?
Yes.
2020. And then the conversation happened. Then it kind of like died out, like, you know, like conversations do.
Yes.
And then pandemic was getting like realer and realer. So then I was staying with my sister at the time. And me and my sister have an incredible relationship. And
That's
I'm like
beautiful.
forever grateful for her, right? But it's like a relationship between siblings or a relationship between a mom and a daughter.
Yes.
Like the minute you guys are just in each other's space too much, there's just certain things that there's gonna be friction. You know
Family
what I mean?
is generally like that,
you know what I mean. So I could feel like, yo, without a job, right, I'm becoming it's becoming difficult.
Yes.
Right. So what I chose to do was I left and I went to Cape Town.
Yes.
Right. And she didn't like kick me out or anything like that. She was
you
actually
just
cool with me. I
decided
was just
to
like,
go
yo,
back.
Yeah,
And
like let me
that's
just
the
go
last
to Cape
thing
Town.
you wanted to do.
Yeah, I wanted to keep our relationship also healthy. You know what I mean? And moved back to Cape Town. And I was like, I moved and didn't tell anyone. Like I just moved back I was like, yo, I'm probably not going back to Joburg.
Oh my word.
Right? Because it's like, yo, everything that I came here for is not working. Music's not working. It's locked down. Nothing is working. And then I got a record deal offer, right?
Wow.
I signed the NDA, so I can't say the record label. But I got a record deal offer, and then I couldn't. It was in Joburg, and then my mentor, guy called a.k.a, he's a presenter. He's a radio presenter on Good Hope, and then
all right,
a.k.a. Right? So I called him, and I was like, we was just speaking. Catching up, and then I told him, dude, I actually got like a record deal offer, yada yada yada, but it's in Joburg and I'm actually in Cape Town. And then he sent me money.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was like, yo, here's the flight, go to Joburg, bro.
Wow, go K-Easy.
You know what I mean?
We
so
see
he was
you.
Like, go to
we
Joburg,
see you.
and let's just see what happens. I got to Joburg, did I went to the record label. We had a conversation. I wasn't happy with the deal. And I put it, so I didn't say no, but I put it on pause because I didn't have much leverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was so good that you did your homework.
I was like, yo,
went ahead and just
I was like, yo, I mean, as much as I felt like I needed a deal at the time, but I was like, yo, it's not gonna make sense to do this right now.
Yeah.
And then I was about to go back to Cape Town because like this is not working.
Yeah.
I was about to go to Cape Town. The night before, I kid you not, the night before, this guy calls and he's like, yo, MTV Base gave us a go ahead.
This
We're
awesome
starting
dude.
to shoot tomorrow.
Oh, MG.
I was like, what? Like, yeah, you're shooting tomorrow, and we're shooting like the first 4 or 5 episodes of the show.
Oh,
so,
my word.
We'll send you money to go like get clothes and whatever, and then we'll start shooting.
Wow.
And then the next morning, I was supposed to leave to go back to Cape Town.
Yes.
I then
and that is the beauty of timing.
Yeah.
And also that
yeah.
reconfirmation and reaffirmation that, you know, everything is happening
Trust
for
us.
Yeah. Everything is happening for you.
Yeah.
So trust and believe.
So that's how that happened. It was just like God's timing, honestly.
Beautiful. And now, a few months later, AmPd Studios Live, the series, have been nominated, for the Safta. And that nomination, are you also in the nomination category?
I'm not personally nominated, but because I'm part of the show, I then got a nomination. I was like, yo, that's super. That's super dope.
So it's a whole package.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, I mean, a huge shout out to Carl, who produced the show. He was super. I mean, the way he took everything and put everything together, and everything was so rush.
Yes.
And it was like, yo, I mean, when client wants something, then it's just go time, you know what I mean? But the way he was able to execute everything and actually make me believe that I'm good enough to be on a platform that has over 2 million viewers. You know what I mean? And I'm doing this for the first time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I mean, a big shout out to him.
Yes.
For just also pushing me
into believing that you can.
Yeah.
And you
100%,
did.
100%.
I mean, we saw you, with Slim doing your thing. We saw you and we loved you.
Thank you.
And we wish you absolutely all the best in your presenting, in your music, in your life in general.
Thank you, man.
Because I've actually checked out a few of your work.
Oh yeah, really?
Right. And I did like it.
Oh, you should have told me this. Okay.
I liked the dripping.
Oh,
I actually enjoyed dripping quite a lot.
Thank you.
It's very chilled, it's very mellow.
Yeah.
But then I also saw motto.
Yeah.
And I wondered if it had anything to do with your name being the motto of the country we spoke about earlier.
I actually didn't even think about it like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't think about it like that. I mean, I made that record in a weird time in my life.
Yeah.
But I think also for me it was kind of like finding myself at the time.
Yeah.
And really like fully committing myself to this music thing, like
150%. I could 100% tell, because that's really where I was catching some bars.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, I see you, I hear you, that was really amazing. That was really dope. And it's been such an amazing to be sitting with you here today, being so candid with us about, your background, your childhood, your mom, your family, and you're very passionate about your mom as well.
Oh, 100%. She's probably like my biggest fan.
Anything you want to say to your mom?
I'm trying to stay safe with the pandemic. I know she's like super worried about that. And just like, thank you, man. Thank you. I think my mom is probably like my angel investor.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And not just financially, but like she's my investor emotionally.
Yeah.
Mentally. She helped me get through so much being in a different city. And I had to man up at a very young age.
Yeah.
And she really did the best that she can do, and she continues to this day to do the best that she can do. She really did a great job. I can be the best person that I can possibly be, and reminds me like every chance that I have, that like, or every chance she has, that like, I mean, we have one life to live.
Yeah.
And whatever you do in this world, do it with humility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never think you're better than the next person.
Wow.
And work as hard as you can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
But also remain humble no matter what.
And that, as you have said it, is truly a reflection and a representation of who you are. With me working with you on the daily behind the camera and just in your space as a human.
Yeah.
And also thank you for that, and thanks to your mom. Before we let you go, I know the ladies are going to kill me for not asking you this one.
Oh God.
All right. But with all of this happening, you're a presenter, you're a voiceover artist at AMP Studios. You're also an MC, a rapper, a musician, and a music writer. So I mean, that must be coming with a whole lot of perks. And
it does.
Also one of those perks being, amantombazana probably throwing themselves your direction.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? And is there a particular ntombazana that's caught your heart?
Look, I think at the moment, I'm fully in like a committed relationship.
Ooh, okay.
She's I don't know if she'd ever want her name being aired.
Yeah, but she knows who she is.
Yeah, but she knows who she is. And she's really like my rock, man.
Keep it up.
Thank
wow.
you.
What a
You'll meet her sooner than later.
I cannot wait. I would love that. I would really, really love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, you heard it here, and you heard it all here on Let's Network TV. If you haven't hit that sub button, do it right now. Njengamanje, right? Do it now. All right. And wow, what an absolute honor to have him in studio with us today. Yes, we're going to let the people know where to get that music and also what your Instagram handles are and so on. You can find it right here. Right here. We'll put it all for you. All right.
Yeah.
And remember, be good to your people, be good to your family, be good to your partners.
Yeah.
Support and love one another and let Ubuntu reign. Thank you for watching. Nsekele ngwanaga o mama Letshego. And if you cannot say my name. Just call me the Mad Princess and keep it simple.
I prefer it when the odds are slim. Shit, I'm working overtime, treating the stool like a dungeon. And VVS like the Fergusons with the production. And my flow got that Mzansi magic that got heads bumping. I stuck to the script even when the money wasn't coming. Now Banbizu Schumacher when it comes to my drive. I'm never cutting corners, guess I got too much pride. Never drifting from the mission until the death of my ride. I'm trying to be the best to do this, talking dead or alive. That's Black Slim.
Wait up. Yeah. Look. Fresh out the stool with the new Polo. Dead and let this boy loose. The K-Town's up and coming. Got potential. Turns out I'm the proof. Trust I'm the truth. School told me